Okay, I stated this a little while ago on the first video that we're going to be doing this exact same objective for the next few weeks. So it's going to be the same objective that you saw in part 1 and part 2, and we're also going to see it in part 4 because this is video part 3. So the objective is the student will be able to calculate a paycheck. This will be done through a real-world job searching activity and paycheck project. So this is, again, this video and the next video are the last time you guys are going to see this objective. But today we're actually going to be counting the different types of pay. For example, you can do hourly pay, you can do weekly pay, you can do bi-weekly, which that one's people get confused. It's every 2 weeks. Most people get paid bi-weekly, so that's a large percent of the jobs do that. Or annual or yearly. You don't get paid annually or yearly, but sometimes they'll talk about annually pay. But we need to understand the calendar first. So this is a calendar. You've all seen it before. It's going through with our nice 12 months. I have 12 little boxes that pop up over each month. So there's 12 months in a year. That's kind of important. Hopefully you guys all have known that before, but we need to know a few things about this calendar to calculate weekly, monthly, yearly, hourly pay. So we know there's 12 months in a year. Let's look at 1 month. So we're going to pay it full January off this calendar in a second. So January, if you notice that there's weeks. Everyone should hopefully know what weeks are. And the weird thing about weeks, I'll get to that in a minute, but let's hopefully it cycles through in a second. But we have over here, there's 52 months in a year. It should actually say weeks in a year, sorry. So technically it's actually 52.1774 weeks in a year, but that's actually really important to know. There's 52 weeks in a year. This is one of the errors people make later. So next, let's dig into this January a little bit more. So we know a week is that whole little thing, and a week is of 7 days. So this is where people start getting confused when they're doing the math in a little while. An actual week is like Sunday through Saturday, 7 days, but a standard work week is only 5 days. So when you're doing your calculations, you don't use 7 in there, you use 5. So because our standard work week, again, is 5 days. So in a second, we're even going to kind of like blow your mind a little bit, not necessarily blow your mind a little bit more, but when we divide it into the standard work day is going to be 8 hours. Again, you have some people that might work 4 days a week and 10 hours a day, or 12 hours a day, but we're talking about like standard across the board is usually 8-hour work days, 5 days a week. So to recap, 12 months in a year, 52 weeks in a year, not 52 months in a year. Sorry about that little grammar error. 5 work days in a week, and 8 hours in a standard work day. So that's something you're going to need to know. You might want to jot it down, but we're going to find out weekly, monthly, and yearly, and hourly. So that's the things we're going to find out for the next few days when we're working our project. So I'm going to give you an hourly pay in a minute. And if you notice I took a weird number, $9.14. I chose a weird one because when we're calculating it, your first pay raise is usually percentage, not like dollar amounts. But if you're making $19.14 an hour, how much will you make in a week? So again, we work 8 hours in a day. We just talked about that. We're using kind of uniform standards across the board. You work 8 hours. So we take 8 times 9.14. Again, usually have 9 hours, but you might get a percentage or increase your first raise. So we do the math, and the second it's going to set up in the long multiplication. You'll get $73.17. There's the information if you don't know how to do long multiplication, because you're going to see it a few times with decimals. Just type in Mr. Beuthin, multiplication of decimals, and the video will come in, or you can type that really big long link. So, but if you don't know how to do that, that's how I get some more help on multiplication of decimals. But now we have to go to if you make $73.12 in a day, how much will you make in a week? So we talked about, we know our daily amount. Now we have to find there's 5 work days in a week. So if we take our daily amount and we multiply it by 5 work days, and my video is going to catch up with me in a second. Where are you? There you go. 5 times $73.12 is going to get you how much you get in a work week. So that's going to come up in 1 second. You're going to see the big long multiplication of how I did it, which is 73 times, again, 73.12 times 5 equals $365.60. Again, follow the link. Type in that link or type multiplication of decimals to get some more information on how to do multiplication of decimals. So now we're actually going to have 2 of our solved. We already knew our hourly wage, which was $9.14, and our weekly wage is $365.60. So let's see how much we make in a year. So if we have $365.60 in a week, how much will we make in a year? Remember earlier I said 52 weeks in a year? So all we're going to do then is times 52 times $365.60. This, for some reason, people make this error very often. They actually times it by 54. It's 52. Just remember 52. Throw it in your notes somewhere. But 52 times 365.60. I'm going to show you the big, long multiplication over here. That's where if you do 2 times 0 is going to be 0. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 2. Blah, blah, all the way down. If you do both sets, you're going to get $19,011.20. So again, if you need some help, type in Mr. Beuthin's class multiplication of decimals, and I can show you step by step how to do multiplication of decimals, or you will be allowed to use a calculator if you guys need. So now we have the last one, monthly. Well, why didn't we do just monthly next? It's actually a little bit more accurate if you do yearly and then do monthly, because there's actually not every single month has 4 weeks. It's like 4.35 weeks or something like that. So if you make $19,011.20 a year, how much will you make a month? So at the beginning of the video, I talked about how many months in a year. We know there's 12 months in a year, and that's going to come up in like a second or two. Am I right? There you go. 12 months in a year. So what we do is we take $19,011.20 and we divide it by 12, and we'll get our monthly salary, which is $1,584.26 a month. If you need some help in division with decimals, same thing. Type in Mr. Beuthin's class, division of decimals, and he'll show you how to divide with decimals. Oh, that's a lot of information, a little bit amount of time, but I'm going to show you some little tricks to kind of remember. But here's all of our answers, exactly the same that you'd have to do in your OneNote file: hourly, weekly, monthly, yearly. Well, Mr. Beuthin, that's a lot of information. How am I going to remember all this? You gave me a lot of stuff. I'm going to give you a little trick in here, kind of a second. You might want to write this down on your page to kind of use as a quick reference instead of all this writing. Weekly is hourly times 8 times 5. Which hourly times 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Your yearly is weekly times 52, 52 weeks in a year. And then your monthly is yearly divided by 52. So if you just write those little phrases on there, it'll kind of help you so you don't have to refer back to the video, and you have some quick notes inside your notes. So like I said, write in your notes, weekly equals hourly times 8 times 5, or whatever will help you remember this. So to recap, when we're doing paychecks, you're going to get multiple types of pay, because especially when you're budgeting, you might not be able to budget with like an hourly thing. You might have to budget monthly pay, or you might have you're looking at a thing and it says you're just making $30,000 a year. Well, what is $30,000 a year? Well, if I take $30,000 a year, I can divide and get the monthly salary, and you need to know all the different type of pays in case it comes up when you're budgeting, and we're going to have to budget later. So take a few minutes, you guys. Make sure you watch the video. Make sure you get some good notes, because tomorrow in class we're going to actually be calculating the 6 jobs we did. We're going to calculate how much you would do weekly, monthly, yearly, and hourly. So again, the objective, because we always finish with the objective, the student will be able to calculate a paycheck. This will be done through a real-world job searching activity in Paycheck. So a little bit of a long video today. Hopefully I can help you guys out in class tomorrow. So see you tomorrow in class.